Hello everyone, it's right about noon on the 7th of April 2024. I'm very excited about today. I really hope that all the water leaks are going to be taken care of. I only have a couple things to do before I can take it for a test drive. One is to cinch up the bolts on the fill tank that connects to the intake manifold and then fill it with coolant. Start the engine, observe, make sure there's no leaks, and then take it for a test drive. So I sure hope this is finally got that water leak stuff done. I've been reading up a lot on those expandable rubber freeze plugs too. Some have had great experiences with them. Some have had terrible experiences with them. So hopefully I'll have a good experience with them. I've never had a negative experience, but I think what I'm going to do after I've driven it is probably put the left wheel up on a ramp so I can crawl under there and cinch that nut up some more, just to make sure it's tight enough that it's not going to pop out. But otherwise, I'm real close to taking her out the driveway. All right, here we go again. I have filled the system up with coolant. The tank is tight. I'm going to start her up and see what happens. Here we go. Made one mistake. I forgot to secure the drain hose off the tank, so I need to do that real quick before it gets eaten up by the fan belt. Hold on. All right, so I have another failure. It's still leaking in the same exact spot. Very, very frustrating. In fact, it looks like it's leaking between the two gaskets. And of course, I didn't put any sealant between the two gaskets because I didn't expect it to leak there. So I guess I'm going to have to make a third attempt. Really frustrating. But I'm going to do anyway because it's a slow leak, a small leak. I'm going to go ahead and drive it because I want to at least check out the front end and just see how she's running. And I'll have to deal with that again. I think I have another tank, so I may end up switching tanks. We'll see. All right, I have no idea how well this is going to work. I'm just using my tripod kind of sitting on the seat here. It may fall over. But anyway, we're going to take it for a quick little spin around the block, at least, so I can check out the front end, that kind of stuff. I really love how tight the steering is now, though. It's nothing like it was when I first bought the car. The whole thing is tight, even the steering wheel, everything. So I'm very pleased about that. So, all right, let's back out of the driveway here and see how we do. I still can't get used to not having that right-hand mirror. That is very distracting. Got to put it in second gear. Oh, there we went. That didn't work too well. Guess I'll just have to hold it. All right. Probably better off just holding the whole camera. Anyway, here we go. All right, I'm going to just grab this camera because I don't think this is going to work right. I got to get a better way of doing this. Let me switch this around, get all that off. Okay, there we go. Now you can at least see the hood ornament. See where I'm going. Oh, yeah, she's got great power. No problem there. Okay, that first hump was good. I didn't hear any clunking. We'll go around several around this circle here. She's very responsive on the accelerator pedal. Love that. Here we go. Cautiously optimistic. I got to keep listening more closely, but I'm pretty sure that clunk is gone, or at least much quieter if it's still there. Yeah, I do believe that shock mount took care of it. I do believe that took care of it, which means I can now schedule my front end alignment. Been waiting on that for a long time. Not going very fast, just in my neighborhood. But I'll get her up to speed here in a minute. Come back in a minute. All right, here we are at this usual intersection where I can get her up to speed a little bit. I'm still detecting just a little bit of clunking from the front end somewhere, but at this point, I'm kind of worn out from messing with that, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and schedule the alignment anyway. Let them do that part, get the tires on, and we'll see how she does after that. Transmission seems to take a while to really want to work right as far as shifting normally. But I experienced that the last time I went for a drive. Now that it's warmed up, coming around that corner, it shifted just fine. So once it warms up, the transmission seems to shift just fine. I think I'll take her around the block one more time before I bring her back home and lick my wounds and see what I'm going to do about that tank. I do recall that it seemed like it was slightly warped, that flange. Now I wish I'd never taken it off, but hey, nothing I can do about it now. I'll have to go get some more gaskets and look at that other tank, see if it's in better shape on that flange. But the engine sounds really good. It has plenty of power. Plenty of power. Make this turn again. One more acceleration up the hill here and then back home. I'm just barely touching that accelerator pedal and she's going. Love it. I hope the new tires and the front end alignment will take care of some of the wandering that she's doing right now. It's quite a bit. She has no trouble getting up to speed. Don't hear any pinging. Nothing like that. Although I think I still hear a little something from the front end on bumps, like little potholes. It's still not nearly as much as it was, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and do the front end alignment. The only thing left, like I said before, it's got to be control arm bushings. And since it doesn't seem to be all that bad, I think I'm just going to save that for another day. Yeah, once she warms up, that transmission shifts just fine. No problem at all. I don't know what that means exactly. If that just means the bands are worn or the clutches are worn or what. But as long as she does fine after she's warmed up, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Glad I got to drive it, even if I do still have to continue to deal with that water leak. Maddening. That's what that is. Maddening. Oh yeah, that steering is so much better than it was. Wow, what an improvement on that. Yeah, there's almost nothing left coming from the front end as far as noise. I'm trying to find a little pothole that I can take that left wheel into because it seems like it's still coming a little bit from the front, what I did here. Yeah, it's so much better. I'm satisfied. Satisfied enough that I think it can be aligned. I'll just have to wait for tomorrow, Monday, in order to call and schedule that alignment. Well, whatever water leak I have, it's minor because it's not, blowing water out, steaming, or overheating the car at least. That's something. We'll see what it looks like when I get back home now that the car is completely warmed up. Well, I found plenty of potholes when I was out with my other car this morning, but I'm not finding them here now that I need one or two. All right, I'll come back when I'm back home and we're looking under the engine, or at the engine again. First thing I'm hearing is a vacuum leak somewhere. Oh, my little cap came off. Well, that affected how it ran for sure. And there's definitely some water down there on the valley cover. But it's not pouring out of there at least, but definitely a leak. Guess I'm not going to worry about it too much right at the moment. She sounds good anyway. I will say, on a more positive note, now that I've driven it a bit, there's absolutely no evidence at all that the intake manifold water jacket was leaking anywhere. So what water there is, that's all coming from that overflow tank. So that's something I can deal with without ripping the whole engine apart. So continue working on that. I'll eventually get that figured out. The leak is relatively minor. I mean, it's more of an annoyance now, but I will take a look at my other tank and look at the flange on it and see if I can see if it's any better shape than this one, maybe at least flatter. And if it's not, maybe I can take it to a machine shop or have somebody plane it down or sand it down or grind it down, do something. We'll see. I'll get there eventually. Yeah, I think that's it for now. So this is the tank from the original engine that I removed from the car. I kept the tank. Of course, I'll clean that flange up and I'll put a straight edge steel ruler or something against it, see how flat it might be. If it's already pretty flat, then that's going to be my solution right there to get these leaks to stop, I do believe. So here's the extra tank that I have. I've cleaned it up. I checked it with a flat edge or a straight edge, and it seems pretty flat. So I think this is in good shape in spite of the pitting you see there. That's what the gasket sealer is for, to fill in that pitting. Um, I actually took the car for a drive to Advanced Auto Parts. Got it up to about 62 miles an hour, and man, she's running good. I'm really enjoying driving her right now. I discovered that my transmission shifting issue was just because I didn't quite have it in the right position on the gear selector. Remember, I'm using a 66 transmission in a 67 Lincoln, and the gear indicators work differently. So I've actually got to put it in the second gear position on the gear selector for it to shift from first into second into third. And I had it pushed a little too far over, and it was locking it in first gear. So anyway, it's shifting fine. Um, so anyway, I went to Advanced Auto Parts to get another gasket, and I noticed, interestingly, that the more I drive it, it seems to be sealing itself up. There's almost no water coming out of it now, and it's definitely under pressure after driving it like that. Um, I'm going to let it cool down because I got to top it off. I know I'm a little bit low on coolant since I lost some during that freeze plug change. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute since I find my special mics. Don't know where I put them right now. I'm also going to check underneath the car to make sure that freeze plug is not leaking right now. But so far things look promising. All right, couple of little updates here again. This car seems to be self-healing, which I just love. After I drove it for a while, heated everything up. Now that this gasket has heated up, and I don't know how this is possible. I've never experienced this before, but it's not leaking anymore. I can't figure it out. I mean, I'm thrilled. I really am. I've just never experienced that before, where it seals itself up. It's almost like I put some of that stop leak in there, you know, that radiator stop leak, which I will not use in this car because I have a brand new aluminum radiator. I'm not putting that stuff in here, never. So I'm thrilled. I mean, the water that was on the valley pan in the back is all dried up and gone, and it's like, this is unreal. So I'm really happy about that. So I just need to top off the tank there with replace what I lost during the work. And the other piece of good news is I heard back from Old Car Clearance, I think it's called, the former Baker's Auto that sells stuff on eBay nowadays. They're going to replace my bag for free since it's leaking. They do guarantee it, so I just have to send it to them, and they'll ship me out a new one. So I'm pleased about that. So I'm just thrilled. So after I top this off, I'm going to go to the gas station. I'm getting kind of low on gas, put some more gas in it, and then I'm basically just going to park it for however long it takes to get an appointment to do the front end alignment, and then the replacing the tires. All right, hopefully it's recording this time. I'm going to walk closer to make sure because I just finished what I thought was my closing video and discovered it wasn't recording at all. So I babbled to myself for 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to babble again, see what I might have forgotten. I just put the car back on the ground. I had the left wheel up on a ramp so I could crawl underneath it to check that rubber freeze plug, and it has not leaked at all, which is a lot better than the steel plug that was there before. So I was happy about that. I did put a wrench on it to see if I could tighten it some more, and I did manage to tighten it a little bit more. Trying not to overdo it, although it's hard to tighten it a lot anyway because it's hot under there. Didn't want to burn myself, but anyway, I'm happy about that. And I'm just amazed that the leak on top, where that tank connects to the intake manifold, seems to have sealed itself. I don't know how that's possible, but it's sure what I'm experiencing. So I'm really, really happy about that. The top of the engine is now dry. I've topped it off with a half a gallon of pre-mix antifreeze. I already mentioned that I'm going to be getting a replacement windshield washer bag. They do guarantee their products. Old Car Clearance, I think they're called, the old Baker's Auto. So they'll be sending me a new one as soon as I return the defective one. So I'll get that ready to go out. Oh, I know what I was really talking about. I was talking about the fact that I'm almost at a loss right now. I haven't had this strange feeling since I began working on this car 11 months ago when I first brought it home last May. It's really odd. All this time I've had this drive, you know, this primal urge to come out here and work on the car no matter what the weather, time of the year, whatever, because I wanted to keep going, you know, so I could drive it and enjoy it. And it just seemed like there was always another project around the corner waiting, you know, next in line or whatever, and I no longer have that. I can actually drive the car and enjoy it. I mean, I still need to get the front end aligned and the new tires put on. Then I'll really feel a lot more comfortable driving it. But there are no big pressing issues now in order for me to drive it and enjoy it and be able to rely on it. At least not yet. I mean, there's some tweaking. I want to tweak the carburetor some more and the timing. It can use a little adjusting, I'm pretty sure, after all the work I've done on it. And I do have that left rear door I want to replace. That's not a critical item, but I am going to do it fairly soon, especially now that the weather looks like it's finally starting to get a little bit nicer. And the 3-port fuel pump, I definitely want to rebuild that. Not urgent, but I do want to get it done because I do plan on taking this car on a road trip, significant road trip out to Pittsburgh, which is 4.5 hours away from here, out near, you know, where Stinkin Lincoln is. And also Lincoln Farm, which is in Calvin, PA, which is not as far as Pittsburgh. I didn't know that, but anyway, do plan on those road trips. So I want to make sure the car is rock solid and able to make that trip. So that's my, you know, that's kind of my ultimate goal for this year. Of course, the future big projects include all the body work. There's a lot of body work to be done on the car. You know, I'll get to it when I get to it. I don't mind driving it the way it is. Never had a pristine 67 Lincoln anyway, or any 60s Lincoln for that matter. They've all had issues with the bodies and whatnot, so it's okay. I'll still enjoy it. So glad you were here for the journey. I certainly enjoyed it. Thanks for all your comments and suggestions and advice. I really appreciate that. I've learned a lot. And I thought I knew a lot already about these cars. I've been working on them for so many years, but I still learned a lot more. So anyway, it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm just really happy right now. Have a good day.